Your lucky day. You're so lucky. You're full of luck. It's your lucky day.
No, it wasn't Sarah's lucky day. It was a setup for a classic $20 distraction scam. And by the time it was over, thousands had vanished from her bank account and her daughter's.
A woman was standing at the checkout counter of her local grocery store, entering her PIN to pay for her items, when a stranger approached her insisting she had dropped a $20 bill. Within 30 minutes of that encounter, nearly $5,000 had been drained from her bank account and her daughter's account, stolen by criminals who used nothing more than a $20 bill and a few seconds of distraction to destroy their financial security. Jennifer, Sarah's daughter who is a teacher, described the devastating impact in words that capture the helplessness victims feel.
I dropped $20 and I said, no, I don't think I did. And I was putting my PIN into the machine and he came much closer to me and was kind of pushing the $20 into my wallet. You need to back up, back off. And I'm like, no, this is yours. This isn't mine. I knew it wasn't mine. The reason I was getting cash back was because all I had was a couple dollars.
She said her money is gone. She had just gotten paid. She doesn't make a lot of money as a teacher. What she makes goes to things she needs, and they can't cover that loss right now. So it's hard to know that someone can take what you have so easily. If this is your first time on this channel, hit that subscribe button because this story exposes a deceptively simple scam that's happening in parking lots and stores across the country right now, and understanding exactly how it works could save you from becoming the next victim. What makes this scam particularly insidious is that it doesn't rely on sophisticated technology or complex schemes. It relies on basic human psychology, the confusion created by an unexpected interaction, and the natural tendency to be polite to strangers, all exploited in a matter of seconds by criminals who have perfected the art of distraction theft. On Wednesday, April 16th, Sarah went to the Ralph's grocery store on Satakoy Street and Louise Avenue in Van Nuys, California, a store she usually shops at, a routine trip she had made countless times before. She was at the checkout, using her debit card to pay for her purchases, when a stranger approached her with what seemed like good news. The man told her that she had dropped a $20 bill, acting like he was doing her a favor, like it was her lucky day. Sarah's immediate instinct was correct. She told him no, she didn't think she had dropped anything. But the man didn't accept her answer and back away like a normal person would. Instead, as Sarah was in the middle of entering her PIN into the payment machine, he came much closer to her, invading her personal space, pushing the $20 bill toward her wallet. Sarah told him to back up, to back off, sensing that something wasn't right about this interaction. The whole thing happened in a matter of seconds, too fast for Sarah to fully process what was occurring, too fast for her to realize that while she was distracted by this strange man pushing money at her, something far more valuable was being taken. Sarah kept insisting that the money wasn't hers, repeatedly telling the man that this was his 20, not hers. But the distraction had already served its purpose. What Sarah didn't know was that in those few seconds of confusion, while her attention was focused on the man and the $20 bill, her debit card had been stolen, likely slipped out of her wallet or taken from the card reader by the criminal or an accomplice. As Sarah walked back to her car in the parking lot, the situation escalated. The same man appeared again, but this time he was joined by a woman. Together, they followed Sarah, continuing to insist that she take the $20 bill. They kept invading her space, maintaining the distraction, possibly using this additional contact to ensure they had what they needed or to prevent Sarah from immediately checking her belongings. Sarah knew the money wasn't hers. She pointed out that the reason she was getting cash back with her purchase was because all she had was a couple of dollars, so there was no way she had dropped a 20. But the criminals persisted with their performance until they were satisfied. Sarah left the parking lot feeling weird about the encounter. Something about the interaction didn't sit right with her, that instinct telling her that what had just happened wasn't normal. She checked her wallet to see if maybe they had taken any of her cash. They hadn't touched her money, and that might have momentarily reassured her. But then she noticed something else. Her debit card wasn't there. She described the moment of realization with words that anyone who has experienced theft will recognize. She said her heart sank. Her debit card was gone, stolen right from under her nose while she was distracted by a $20 bill that was never hers in the first place. What happened next demonstrates how quickly these criminals operate once they have what they need. Within just 30 minutes of the encounter at Ralph's, the scammers made multiple withdrawals at a Chase bank several miles away. They moved fast because they knew the clock was ticking, knew that Sarah would eventually realize her card was missing, knew that every minute counted before the account was frozen. By the time anyone could react, nearly $5,000 had been withdrawn.
My heart sank because my debit card wasn't there.
My money is gone and I had just gotten paid, and I'm a teacher. I don't make a lot of money. I really don't. And what I make goes to the things I need, and we can't cover that right now. So it's hard to know that someone can take what you have so easily.
Money taken from Sarah's account and from her daughter Jennifer's account as well, because their bank accounts were linked together. The scammers didn't just devastate one person, they devastated a family. Jennifer, who is a teacher, felt the impact immediately and painfully. She had just gotten paid, and suddenly that paycheck was gone, not spent on bills or groceries or the things she needed, but stolen by criminals who would never face consequences for what they had done. Jennifer described the financial reality of being a teacher in stark terms. She doesn't make a lot of money. What she makes goes to the things she needs, and they simply can't cover this kind of loss right now. For someone living paycheck to paycheck, for someone whose budget has no margin for unexpected disasters, losing thousands of dollars to theft isn't just an inconvenience. It's a crisis that affects every aspect of daily life. Jennifer filed a police report, determined to do something about what had happened to her family. She also shared the story online, hoping to warn others about this scam and possibly find people who had witnessed what happened or who might have information about the criminals. What she discovered shocked her. One after another, people began commenting that the exact same thing had happened to them or their loved ones. This wasn't an isolated incident. This wasn't a one-time crime by opportunistic thieves. This was a pattern, a scheme being run across the area with victim after victim falling prey to the same $20 distraction technique. The psychological impact on the victims extends far beyond the financial loss. Jennifer described feeling like she's looking over her shoulder everywhere she goes now, that sense of safety and normalcy that most of us take for granted completely shattered. She called it a huge violation, which captures something important about these crimes. They don't just take money, they take peace of mind. They take the ability to move through the world without fear. They take the basic trust that allows us to interact with strangers without assuming the worst. Sarah and Jennifer will likely never feel completely comfortable at a checkout counter again, will always wonder about the intentions of anyone who approaches them in a parking lot, will carry the trauma of this violation long after the financial wounds have healed. Unfortunately, bringing these criminals to justice has proven difficult. According to reporting, the description of the suspects is too vague to identify them, and security footage from the store has not yet been released to the public. The criminals chose their approach carefully, a quick interaction in a busy store, a distraction that seemed innocent enough that bystanders wouldn't intervene, and a fast escape before anyone realized what had happened. These aren't amateurs making impulsive decisions. These are practiced thieves who understand exactly how to operate without leaving enough evidence to be caught. If you have been a victim of a similar scam, or if you know anything about this specific case, authorities are asking you to contact the LAPD. Every report helps establish patterns, identify suspects, and potentially prevent future victims from suffering the same fate. Here are the critical warning signs and protective measures everyone needs to understand from this case. First, if anyone approaches you while you're entering your PIN at a checkout terminal, immediately stop what you're doing, cover the keypad, and ask them to step back. Your PIN is the key to your entire account and should never be entered while someone is hovering near you. Second, be extremely suspicious of anyone who claims you dropped money, especially if they're insistent about it when you tell them it isn't yours. Legitimate Good Samaritans accept your answer and walk away. Scammers keep pushing. Third, if someone is invading your personal space during a financial transaction, that is not normal social behavior and should trigger immediate alarm. Trust your instincts when something feels wrong. Fourth, after any unusual encounter at a store or ATM, immediately check that you still have your cards, your phone, and your wallet contents. The sooner you discover a theft, the sooner you can freeze your accounts. Fifth, consider using tap-to-pay or mobile payment methods that don't require you to hand over a physical card or enter a PIN visible to those around you. Sixth, if you have linked bank accounts with family members, understand that a theft from one account can rapidly become a theft from multiple accounts, and discuss security protocols with everyone whose finances are connected to yours. Seventh, report these crimes even if you think the description is too vague or the amount stolen seems too small to bother police. Patterns emerge from multiple reports, and your information might be the piece that helps identify serial offenders. If you found this story important and you want to protect yourself and the people you care about from similar scams, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with everyone who needs to see it. Sarah and Jennifer did nothing wrong except be in the wrong place at the wrong time when predators decided to target them. The criminals used a $20 bill, a prop that probably cost them nothing since they took it back at the end, to steal nearly $5,000 from a hardworking teacher and her mother. The math of that crime is sickening, but even more sickening is the casual cruelty of criminals who study human behavior specifically to exploit our politeness, our confusion, and our desire to be helpful to strangers. The lesson from this case is not that we should never interact with people or never help someone who appears to have dropped something. The lesson is that we need to be aware that criminals create these scenarios deliberately, that any unusual interaction during a financial transaction should heighten our alertness, and that protecting our cards and PINs must take priority over social niceties when something feels off. Sarah knew the $20 wasn't hers, she told them repeatedly, but the distraction worked anyway because these criminals have practiced their technique on victim after victim until they know exactly how to overwhelm someone's suspicions in a matter of seconds. Now Jennifer looks over her shoulder everywhere she goes, and countless other victims who commented on her post are living with the same violated feeling, the same stolen sense of security, the same financial hardships caused by people who saw them not as human beings but as targets. Stay vigilant, protect your PIN like it's the key to everything you own because it is, and remember that anyone who won't respect your personal space during a transaction is showing you exactly who they are. This has been another investigation into how scammers exploit everyday situations to steal from ordinary people. Stay safe out there, trust your instincts, and never let politeness override your protection.